What separates those who dream from those who achieve? What's the difference between the person who sets goals every New Year's Eve and forgets them by February, and the person who builds a life of purpose, success, and impact? The answer is simple, but not easy. It's discipline. You've probably felt this yourself. You wake up one morning, fueled with motivation. You feel unstoppable. You're ready to conquer your to-do list, hit the gym, build your business, or start that project you've been postponing. And for a while, it feels amazing. You're riding the wave of excitement. But then, something happens. The motivation fades. Maybe you're tired. Maybe life gets stressful. Maybe you just don't feel like it. And in that moment, everything stops. The goals, the plans, the vision, they stall because the spark is gone. This is the problem with relying on motivation. Motivation is emotional. It's fragile. It comes and goes like the weather. It's like waiting for a sunny day before you decide to step outside. You'll never live fully if you only act when the conditions feel perfect. Success doesn't wait for your mood. Success doesn't care if you're motivated. Success responds to discipline. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline doesn't depend on energy or excitement or inspiration. Discipline is action regardless of mood. It's doing the work whether you want to or not. It's showing up when motivation has long disappeared. Discipline is what carries you through the days when you're tired, unmotivated, or uncertain. And those days, more than the easy days, are the ones that define your future. Think about anyone you admire, anyone who has achieved greatness. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, they didn't get there because they were always motivated. They got there because they were disciplined. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest basketball player in history by practicing only when he felt like it. He practiced relentlessly, every day, especially when he didn't feel like it. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple on bursts of random motivation. He built it with years of disciplined focus. Writers, musicians, scientists, none of them achieved mastery because motivation showed up every morning. They did it because they relied on discipline when motivation failed. And here's the truth you need to hear. Your future will not be built on motivation. Your future will be built on discipline. Motivation might get you started, but discipline will keep you going. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that burns through the darkest nights. Motivation is the promise. Discipline is the fulfillment. Now, some people hear the word discipline and think of punishment, restriction, or something harsh. But real discipline is freedom. It's the ability to control yourself instead of being controlled by your impulses. It's the ability to say yes to your long-term goals, even when your short-term feelings are begging you to quit. Discipline is not about depriving yourself. It's about empowering yourself. Imagine two people on the same journey. One relies on motivation. The other relies on discipline. The motivated person wakes up energized and hits the gym, but the next day, they feel tired and skip. They start strong but fade quickly. The disciplined person, on the other hand, wakes up tired too. They don't feel like going, but they go anyway. They show up, day after day, no matter what. Who do you think gets the results? Who do you think builds strength, habits, and character? It's not the motivated one. It's the disciplined one. This is why discipline matters more than motivation. It's reliable. It doesn't vanish with your mood. It doesn't depend on your environment. It doesn't wait for the perfect timing. Discipline is the foundation that holds everything else together. Without it, motivation is wasted energy. With it, motivation becomes fuel when it's available, but not a necessity when it's not. Here's a reality check. There will be days when you won't feel like working. Days when you'll want to quit. Days when you'll want to push your goals aside. Motivation will not save you on those days, but discipline will. Discipline is the voice that says, do it anyway. Discipline is the decision that says, show up, even if it's hard. Discipline is the muscle you train every time you push through resistance. And the more you train it, the stronger it gets. So ask yourself right now, are you living a life of motivation or a life of discipline? Do you wait for the right mood to take action, or do you act regardless of mood? Do you depend on excitement, or do you depend on commitment? This question matters because your answer determines your destiny. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It's the secret ingredient behind every success story, every breakthrough, every transformation. Motivation is nice, it feels good, but it's not enough. If you want real change, lasting change, life-changing change, then discipline must become your best friend. Discipline isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. It's a skill, a habit, a muscle. And just like a muscle, it grows with use and weakens with neglect. The good news is, anyone can strengthen it. No matter your past, no matter your struggles, no matter how many times you've failed before, discipline can be trained. The first step is understanding triggers. Every time you make a choice, there's a trigger behind it. Maybe it's an emotion, maybe it's a situation, maybe it's a thought. Motivation relies on positive triggers. You feel excited, so you act. Discipline removes the dependency on positive triggers and teaches you to act even when the trigger is negative. You feel tired? Act anyway. You feel overwhelmed? Act anyway. You feel uninspired? Act anyway. That's discipline. Think about the military. Soldiers don't train only when they're motivated. They train because they must. They wake up at the same time, follow routines, and execute tasks, regardless of how they feel. Why? Because discipline saves lives. It creates reliability under pressure. Now, you may not be in a battlefield, but you are in a battle, the battle for your future. And discipline is your weapon. But how do you cultivate it in daily life? Start small. People think discipline means radical change overnight, but the truth is, discipline grows through small, consistent commitments. Wake up at the same time every day. Make your bed. Commit to 5 minutes of reading. Go for a short walk. These seem trivial, but they're not. They're training. They're reminders to your brain that you're in control, not your impulses. Over time, those small acts of discipline expand into bigger ones. When you've proven to yourself that you can control the small things, you'll trust yourself to handle the big things, like running a business, maintaining your health, or building meaningful relationships. Self-trust is built through discipline. And once you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. Here's another truth. Discipline doesn't always feel good in the moment. Waking up early when you're tired doesn't feel good. Saying no to junk food when you're craving sugar doesn't feel good. Studying when your friends are out having fun doesn't feel good. But discipline isn't about the present. It's about the future. It's about choosing long-term rewards over short-term comfort. And here's the paradox. What feels painful in the moment often feels powerful in hindsight. The workout you didn't want to do becomes pride after it's done. The temptation you resisted becomes strength the next day. The sacrifice you made becomes success years later. Now, let's talk about willpower. People confuse willpower with discipline. Willpower is short-term. It's like a battery that runs out. Discipline, on the other hand, is a system. It's the habits and routines that guide your actions even when willpower is gone. If you rely only on willpower, you'll burn out. But if you build disciplined systems, you'll keep moving forward automatically. Take James Clear's concept from Atomic Habits. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Discipline is building systems that make success inevitable. If your system is that you wake up and immediately put on your running shoes, you'll run more often. If your system is that you don't keep junk food in the house, you'll eat healthier. If your system is that you schedule time for work and protect it, you'll stay productive. Systems turn discipline from a struggle into a lifestyle. But there's another layer, identity. Discipline sticks when it becomes part of who you are, not just what you do. If you say, I'm trying to work out, that's temporary. If you say, I'm an athlete, that's identity. If you say, I'm trying to write, that's fragile. If you say, I'm a writer, that's permanent. Discipline becomes effortless when your actions align with your identity. Every time you show up, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Eventually, the votes add up and your identity changes. So, discipline isn't just about action, it's about transformation. It's not about forcing yourself forever. It's about becoming someone for whom disciplined action is natural. When you see yourself as disciplined, the choices stop feeling like sacrifices and start feeling like expressions of who you are. Here's something powerful to remember. Motivation looks for inspiration, but discipline creates inspiration. When you act consistently, even when you don't feel like it, results come. and results create inspiration. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. You don't wait for the mood to write. You write, and the mood follows. You don't wait for energy to work out. You work out, and energy comes. Action precedes emotion, not the other way around. That's why disciplined people seem to have endless motivation. They've learned that action fuels feeling, not feeling fuels action. And let's be honest, discipline isn't glamorous. Social media loves showing motivation, fiery speeches, epic transformations, big wins. But discipline is in the shadows. It's waking up early when no one sees. It's practicing when no one claps. It's saying no when no one's watching. Discipline doesn't make headlines, but it makes legends. The truth is, the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't bridged by motivational speeches. It's bridged by daily discipline. It's bridged by showing up when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's inconvenient. Discipline is unshakable commitment. And when you master that, you become unstoppable. Think for a moment about the greatest enemy of success. It's not failure. Failure teaches. Failure sharpens. Failure guides you toward better choices. The real enemy of success is inconsistency. And inconsistency is what happens when you live by motivation instead of discipline. Motivation makes you inconsistent because it's temporary. One day you feel fired up, the next you feel drained. One week you're unstoppable, the next week you can't get yourself moving. And inconsistency kills progress. But discipline creates consistency. And consistency, over time, creates results so powerful they look like magic to the outside world. Consistency is what makes the invisible become visible. At first, your disciplined actions might not show results. You'll work hard for weeks, even months, without noticeable progress. That's when most people quit, because they relied on motivation. But the disciplined person keeps going, and suddenly, a breakthrough happens. The weight starts dropping. The money starts growing. The skills start showing. The transformation that looked impossible suddenly looks inevitable. That's the reward of consistency. Let's bring this closer to your life. Imagine you decide to read 10 pages a day. Doesn't sound like much, right? 10 pages won't change your life in a day. But in a year, that's 3,650 pages, roughly 12 to 15 books. What do you think reading 15 books on mindset, success, or leadership would do for your future? That's the compound effect of small, disciplined actions. Or take fitness. 20 push-ups a day may feel insignificant, but in 6 months, your body changes. In a year, your health transforms. Not because of one day of motivation, but because of daily discipline. That's how the ordinary becomes extraordinary. There's a Japanese concept called Kaizen. It means continuous improvement through small, consistent steps. It's not about massive leaps, but about showing up every day and getting slightly better. That's discipline. And that's how empires, careers, and legacies are built. Now let's talk about distractions. We live in the noisiest time in human history. Notifications, entertainment, endless scrolling. Everything is designed to grab your attention. Motivation gets destroyed in this environment because motivation is fragile. But discipline cuts through distraction. Discipline says, I don't care what's happening on my phone. I don't care what the latest trend is. I'm committed to my goals. Discipline creates focus in a distracted world. Here's a key mindset shift. Stop waiting to feel like it. If you only act when you feel like it, you'll live a life of regret. High performers, achievers, leaders, they act whether they feel like it or not. That's the secret. You'll never always feel ready. You'll never always feel motivated. But you can always choose to be disciplined. And here's where many people get it wrong. They think discipline means doing huge things all the time. But true discipline is often quiet. It's the small, boring choices repeated over and over. It's cooking a healthy meal instead of ordering fast food. It's spending an hour learning instead of wasting an hour scrolling. It's saying no to short-term pleasure for long-term gain. Success is hidden in these boring choices. The world doesn't celebrate them, but your future does. Think of a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. Each strike of the hammer looks small, meaningless even. But over time, those tiny strikes shape a masterpiece. That's your life. Every disciplined action you take is a strike shaping your future. And one day, people will look at your results and call it genius. But you'll know it wasn't genius. It was discipline. Discipline also breeds confidence. When you keep promises to yourself, you start to trust yourself. Every time you show up when it's hard, you're telling yourself, I can rely on me. That self-trust is priceless. Motivation can't give you that, because motivation is external. But discipline builds inner strength. Let's be clear, discipline isn't about perfection. You will slip. You will have off days. Discipline doesn't mean never failing. It means never quitting. It means getting back on track faster than before. If you miss a workout, you show up the next day. If you overspend 1 week, you budget the next. If you break a streak, you start again. Motivation quits when things go wrong. Discipline adapts and continues. That's why discipline always wins in the long run. Another myth: discipline kills freedom. People think living a disciplined life is rigid and boring. The truth? Discipline creates freedom. When you're disciplined with your money, you're free from debt. When you're disciplined with your health, you're free from illness. When you're disciplined with your time, you're free to pursue what matters. Undisciplined people are slaves to debt, to cravings, to distractions. Disciplined people are free. Now let's zoom out. Imagine your future self 5 years from now. One version of you chose motivation, acting only when excited, quitting when it got hard. That version is stuck in the same place, frustrated, maybe worse off. The other version chose discipline, acting consistently, building habits, ignoring excuses. That version has grown, succeeded, transformed. Which future do you want? The choice is made in your daily discipline. So ask yourself, what's one area of your life where you've relied too much on motivation? Where have you been waiting to feel like it, instead of acting regardless? Identify that area. Now, commit to a disciplined action in that area every day, no matter how small. That commitment, more than any motivational speech, is what will change your life. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't go to the most motivated. It goes to the most disciplined. There's a phrase you need to remember. Motivation gets you going, discipline keeps you growing. Growth is the key. Anyone can start, but not everyone continues. The ones who continue, who persist long after the spark of motivation fades, are the ones who rise above the rest. But let's go deeper. Discipline is not just about doing hard things. It's about creating alignment between your values, your goals, and your actions. Motivation can inspire you with big visions, but discipline ensures those visions don't stay daydreams. It grounds you. It keeps your actions aligned with your purpose. Think of a tree. Motivation is like sunlight. It shines brightly, and you feel it instantly. But without strong roots, the tree can't survive storms. Discipline is the root system. You don't always see it, but it anchors the tree, allowing it to grow tall and endure every season. Without roots, no tree survives. Without discipline, no dream thrives. Now, let's talk about emotional resilience. Life is unpredictable. You'll face setbacks, rejection, stress, and even failure. Motivation tends to vanish when these challenges show up. But discipline thrives in adversity. When things get tough, discipline says, keep going. It turns pain into progress, obstacles into opportunities. Discipline doesn't run from the storm. It walks through it, knowing the storm won't last, but the lessons will. This is why disciplined people seem unshakable. It's not because life is easier for them. It's because they've trained themselves to act regardless of circumstances. They're not controlled by mood swings or external chaos. Their internal compass, discipline, guides them steadily forward. Here's another perspective. Discipline is self-respect in action. Every time you honor your commitments, you're telling yourself, I am worthy of my goals. I am worthy of success. I believe in my future. On the other hand, every time you break your word to yourself, you chip away at your confidence. You might not even notice it, but your mind does. It remembers. That's why discipline isn't just about results. It's about identity. It's about proving to yourself that you are someone who follows through. And let's be real, discipline can be lonely. When everyone else is choosing comfort, you'll be choosing growth. When others are distracted, you'll be focused. When others are indulging, you'll be sacrificing. But remember, Those same people will look at your success years later and call you lucky. They'll see the result, but not the discipline that created it. So how do you stay disciplined when no one's watching? The answer is simple but powerful. Know your why. Motivation often focuses on the what, the goal, the dream. Discipline focuses on the why, the reason behind it. When your why is strong enough, your discipline becomes unbreakable. If your why is to live longer for your kids, you'll stay disciplined in your health. If your why is to escape financial struggle, you'll stay disciplined with your money. If your why is to create impact, you'll stay disciplined in your work. Your why fuels your discipline. Here's something important. Discipline doesn't mean being hard on yourself all the time. It doesn't mean beating yourself up when you fail. It means holding yourself accountable with compassion. Think of discipline like a coach. A good coach doesn't let you slack, but also doesn't destroy your spirit. They push you to grow while reminding you why you're capable. Treat yourself with that same balanced discipline. Practical example. Let's say you're writing a book. Motivation will help you start. You'll be excited, ideas will flow, and you'll feel unstoppable. But eventually, the excitement fades. That's when discipline steps in. Discipline says, write 500 words today, even if they're messy. Do that daily, and in 6 months, you have a finished manuscript. Motivation creates the spark, but discipline finishes the fire. Here's the irony. The more disciplined you become, the less you'll need motivation. Because discipline creates results, and results create inspiration. Suddenly, you're not chasing motivation, it's chasing you. That's the shift that changes lives. Think about it. The student who studies a little every day instead of cramming last minute feels calm and confident. The athlete who trains consistently doesn't need pep talks before every game. The entrepreneur who works steadily on their business doesn't panic when opportunities appear. They're already prepared. Discipline makes you ready. Now let's address excuses. Excuses are motivation's best friend and discipline's worst enemy. Motivation can easily be silenced by excuses. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. Discipline doesn't negotiate with excuses. It doesn't debate. It doesn't argue. It acts. And that's what separates winners from wishers. Everyone has excuses. Few have discipline. The good news is, you don't have to be perfect to be disciplined. Even showing up at 70% effort consistently beats showing up at 100% effort occasionally. Discipline is about persistence, not perfection. It's about doing what you can, when you can, as often as you can. Over time, that persistence compounds into excellence. Remember this. Motivation will ask, do I feel like it? Discipline answers, it doesn't matter. Motivation will ask, is it easy? Discipline answers, I'll do it anyway. Motivation will ask, what if I fail? Discipline answers, then I'll try again. That mindset is what changes your entire future. So here's the challenge for you. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Start acting with discipline. Choose one area of your life, fitness, finances, relationships, learning, and commit to a daily action, no matter how small. Don't aim for massive change overnight. Aim for consistency. Build the muscle. And soon, discipline won't feel like effort. It will feel like freedom. Because discipline is not a burden. Discipline is the pathway to the life you've always wanted. So now you know the truth. Discipline is greater than motivation. Motivation is fleeting, unpredictable, and emotional. Discipline is steady, reliable, and transformational. Motivation whispers, discipline commands. Motivation fades, discipline remains. And in the long run, it's discipline that defines your destiny. But here's the part that matters most. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight to build discipline. You don't need to become a different person tomorrow. You only need to start today with one action. Discipline is built through daily decisions. The choice to wake up instead of snoozing. The choice to work out instead of scrolling. The choice to learn instead of procrastinating. These choices might feel small, but they are powerful. Each one is a brick, and over time, those bricks build the foundation of your future. Ask yourself right now, what's one area of your life where discipline could change everything? Is it your health, your finances, your career, your relationships, your mindset? Whatever it is, commit today to one disciplined action in that area. Just one, and then repeat it tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. That's how transformation happens, step by step, action by action, day by day. Stop waiting for motivation to appear. It won't. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Stop waiting for someone to inspire you. That's not their job, it's yours. The moment you choose discipline over motivation, your life begins to shift. Because discipline doesn't ask permission, it doesn't wait for conditions, and it doesn't stop for obstacles. Discipline moves forward, and it takes you with it. Imagine yourself 1 year from today if you make this choice. Imagine the health you could build. Imagine the skills you could master. Imagine the opportunities you could create. Imagine the confidence you could develop. Discipline is the vehicle that takes you from imagination to reality. Without it, your dreams remain dreams. With it, your dreams become achievements. And don't forget this, discipline isn't just about achieving goals. It's about becoming someone greater in the process. The money, the success, the recognition, those are byproducts. The real reward is who you become when you choose discipline daily. You become stronger, tougher, wiser, more resilient. You become the kind of person who doesn't give up, who doesn't quit, who doesn't break. That person, that identity, is worth more than any goal you achieve. Now, here's your call to action. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, take one step that proves you're choosing discipline. Go for that run. Write that page. Save that dollar. Make that call. Do the thing you've been avoiding. And tomorrow, do it again, and again, and again, because your future isn't waiting for more motivation. It's waiting for more discipline. And the life you want, the health, the freedom, the success, the confidence, it's all on the other side of disciplined action. So the choice is yours. You can keep chasing motivation, living in cycles of starts and stops, feeling inspired one day and stuck the next. Or you can build discipline, and with it, build a life that doesn't depend on moods, circumstances, or luck. Choose discipline. Choose consistency. Choose growth. And watch as your life transforms in ways motivation alone could never achieve. This is your moment. This is your decision. Don't just be inspired, be disciplined. And if you're ready to build that life, stay connected. Subscribe to Mindset Vaults for more daily motivation, mindset strategies, and practical tools to fuel your journey. But remember, subscribing is just the start. The real change happens when you act. So act now. Choose discipline today, and step boldly into the future you deserve.